I gave up my first-class seat to an elderly woman on a cross-country flight. 3 hours later, her daughter changed my life with a business card. I was exhausted after 6 months of failed interviews and rejected applications. I'd spent my last savings on a first-class ticket home to lick my wounds and figure out my next move. Design degree in hand, portfolio polished to perfection, and absolutely nothing to show for it except an eviction notice waiting at my apartment. At the gate, I noticed her parent, early 80s tiny frame, elegant but clearly uncomfortable as she shifted in the standard airport seat. When boarding began, she struggled to stand, wincing as she put weight on her hip. I'm not special or particularly kind, but my grandmother had the same look after her hip replacement, and before I could overthink it, I was helping her with her carry-on and quietly asking the flight attendant if we could swap boarding passes, panned her middle seat and economy for my 2A in first class. Are you sure, honey? The flight attendant asked. I wasn't. That seat had cost me a month's rent. But I nodded, helped the woman to my seat at the front, and made my way to row 27, squeezing between a man whose cologne could kill small animals and a teenager who immediately put in Aynard and fell asleep against my shoulder. 3 hours of misery later, I was scrolling job listings on the spotty airplane webby when a flight attendant tapped my arm. The passenger in 2A would like to see you, she said. Great, had I forgotten something? Was the woman angry about some aspect of the seat? When I reached first class, the elderly woman smiled warmly. I wanted to thank you properly, she said. My hip replacement surgery was just 2 weeks ago, and this flight was emergency travel for my grandson's accident. Those extra 6 inches of legroom made all the difference. It's really no problem, I said, conscious of the line forming for the bathroom behind me. My daughter will be picking me up at baggage claim. I'd like you to meet her. I started to make an excuse, Perton. I just wanted to get home and sleep for approximately 1,000 years, Perrin. But something in her eyes stopped me. I found myself agreeing after landing. I helped her with her bag and walked beside her to baggage claim where a stylishly dressed woman in her 50s was waiting. She asked, hugging the elderly woman carefully. Better than expected, thanks to this young lady. She gave up her first-class seat for me. The daughter turned to me with surprise. That's incredibly kind. Most people wouldn't even give up an armrest these days. I shrugged, uncomfortable with the attention. It seems like the right thing to do. What do you do for work? She asked as we waited for our bags. I am a graphic designer, I said, or trying to be. Just finished my MFA, but the job market's brutal. Something changed in her expression. She reached into her purse and pulled out a business card. I am the creative director at Visionary Partners. We're actually looking for a junior designer right now. I stared at the card. Visionary Partners was one of the top design firms in the country, Perrin, the kind that never even responded to cold applications. Send me your portfolio tonight, she continued, and I'll make sure it gets reviewed properly. I thought it was just a polite gesture until my phone rang the next morning. Your typography work is exceptional, the daughter said without preamble. Can you come in for an interview tomorrow? 3 interviews later, I started at Visionary as a junior designer. 6 months after that, I led my first campaign. The elderly woman sends me handwritten notes whenever she sees my work in magazines. My grandmother always said kindness finds its way back to you. I didn't give up my seat to network or advance my career per tear. I did it because for a moment someone else's comfort mattered more than mine. But on my darkest day, when I'd given up hope and spent my last dollars on a small comfort that I then gave away, the universe conspired to put exactly the right person in my path. Sometimes the seat you are meant to have isn't the one you paid for.